Hi, today's practice is going to be lying down throughout. So it may feel easier because we are lying down, but there's still going to be a lot of strengthening work, a lot of core work, and just an overall full body workout. So let's begin. We're going to start just by taking a little roll down. So just slowly tipping pelvis backwards, coming down to the mat with control, vertebrae by vertebrae. And just resting the head back, drawing the feet a bit closer together, feet are hip distance apart, just taking the hands to the belly. We're just going to begin by tuning into the body, just focusing on the breath. So take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, I want you to just feel that expansion of the abdomen. As you take a nice deep breath, and then on the exhale, just noticing how it slowly lowers. And breathing in, feeling that rise of the belly. And exhale. And just allowing your body to relax. Breathing in. And whatever you might have going on. And a breath out. For this practice, we're just going to focus on our body. So just moving the hands, just taking the hands this time to the rib cage. I want you to begin to gently just engage the abdomen, and we're going to breathe into the back and sides of the rib cage. So take a nice deep breath in, feeling that expansion of the rib cage on the mat, and then breathing out. Just notice how the ribs just come back together. So breathing in, feeling that expansion of the rib cage, and exhale, feeling it come back. So in Pilates, we call this lateral breathing, where we're able to keep that abdomen engaged while still breathing deeply into the back and sides of the ribs. So we're no longer breathing into the abdomen, which just allows us that connection through the center. That's what we want to try and focus on as much as we can. And then just moving the hands to the hip bones. We're just going to take a little pelvic curl. So just begin by tucking tailbone under, just feeling the lower back, the sacrum just flattening against the mat as the glutes begin to gently engage. And on the exhale, we're tipping the pelvis forward, just noticing that small arch that appears just in the lower back. And then breathing in, reversing that movement. Feeling the lower back in contact with the mat. Again, just gentle engagement of the glutes. And exhale, tipping pelvis forward. And again, just a small movement where just the lower back just begins to just gently lift off the mat. Not far, it may only just be half an inch, maybe an inch. And then with control, we're just tilting the pelvis back into neutral and then tucking under. We just feel that very small lift. Good, one more. Tipping pelvis forward. And then slowly, just feeling that movement of the pelvis. We slowly come back and then just place the hands by the side, just pressing into the hands, pressing into the arms. We're going to send the hips high, so coming into this bridge position, just pushing into the heels and creating that line between the chest, the hips and the knees. So we're not pushing or popping the chest upwards, just keeping this line, pelvis in neutral. Glutes are engaged, core is still activated. We're just holding it here just for a moment. Let's take a couple of breaths. Again, we're breathing into the back and sides of the rib cage. Good, and then we're just going to float the arms up towards the ceiling as we slowly return to the mat, just coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. So it's a slow, controlled return to the mat. Still focusing on pelvic movement here as we bring the spine and articulate the spine as well. Good. Okay, so this time as we move into bridge, tucking pelvis under, we're just going to float the arms down as we lift and then float them up as we lower. So we lift and lower and lift and lower and lift and lower. Good, just two more. Lift, really squeezing those glutes as we lift, and then lower, and then one more. Lift, and then slowly lower back down. Good, just floating the arms back again. We're going to press into those arms. We're sending the hips high. And from this position, we're just going to lift that right leg just to 90 degrees and then tap and lift and tap and lift. Good. Give me four more. So tap and lift. That's 3 and lift. 2 and lift. Final one. Lots of work in that supporting leg. And then we just slowly lower back down, taking right leg down, and then moving to the other side. So breathing in, tucking pelvis under, exhale, sending the hips high, lifting that right foot or that right leg. Good. And then just tap and lift and tap and lift, tap and lift for 3, lift, 2, lift, 1, lift. This time we're just going to place the foot back down on the mat. Good. Arms can come up to the ceiling if you want. And we're just going to do tiny little squeezes here. So little pulses, just up and down, small movement, just contracting the glutes. Just a few more here. Good. Little movements, little squeezes. Up. Good. A few more. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to take arms overhead. We're going to get a really nice, good stretch into the spine, into the thoracic spine, in between the shoulder blades. You might feel a little crack as you come down. Just articulating that spine, coming down vertebrae by vertebrae, and then just melting that pelvis into the mat as we float the arms over. We're going to take a right knee up, followed by the left. So you can bring knees and feet together. Arms just by the side, just pressing into the arms just gently. We're going to open that right knee, breathing in. And on the exhale, we're just opening that right knee, just taking it out to the side. Doesn't need to go very far. Inhale, bring it back to center. Good. Exhale, take it the left knee out. Good. Breathing in. We don't need to make it a very big movement, so pelvis stays very stable. It's not lifting up, noticing as if it wants to start to lift up off the mat, seeing if we can use our core here to really control that movement. Good, stabilize the pelvis. And then we're just going to do one more each side, so just taking it out to the right. Good, bring it back to center. And exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. We're going to do both knees. This time the hips do need to come up off the mat, but it doesn't need to be a big movement. So breathing in. Exhale, take it over to the right side. Good. Breathe in. Back to center. Over to the left. Really controlled movement here, bringing it back. Lots of core work. Lots of abdominals, taking it over to the right as we breathe out. And breathing in, taking it back to center. Exhale, take it over to the left. Good. Keep pressing into those arms to stabilize you. Back to center, and then take it over to the right. Good. We'll just do one more on each side. Back to center. Exhale to the left. Good. And then bring it back, placing those feet back down on the mat. Feet are hip distance apart. We're taking hands behind the head, and we're just going to slowly curl up towards the knees. Good. Breathe in to lower. Exhale, lift. Breathe in as we lower. Good. Keeping the elbows wide. And we're just lightly pressing the head on the back of the hands. So it's not our arms that are lifting us. The movement's coming from the abdominals. We're using our abdominals just to lift us. Just shoulders coming up off the mat. And then slowly coming down. So just shortening that distance between the bottom of the rib cage and the hip bone. Good. And just a couple more. We lift. And then we lower. Lift. And lower. And then this time as we lift, we can bring our feet into it. So just bringing feet back into tabletop. Good. We can keep feet and knees together if that helps. And we're just going to slowly lower and lift and lower and lift. If you feel this is quite strong on your lower back, just draw the knees in a bit closer. This is going to take pressure off the lower back. And otherwise, if you're just taking those knees a bit further away, you're going to find it a lot more challenging on the abdominals. Good. So just one more here. Good. And then we're just going to keep that head lifted, and we're going to flex the feet, and we're going to open the knees. Good. Into this like frog leg position. Good. And we're extending those legs away, and we point the toes. Good. We draw it back, flex and extend, point, draw it back, flex, extend and point, draw it back, flex, extend and point and draw it back, flex, extend and point. Good. Keeping the feet here, we're just going to flex and point and flex and point and flex and point, flex, point and flex and point. Can we reverse that movement? So we flex the feet, we draw the feet back together, we point and extend. So we flex, draw it back, point, extend, flex, draw it back, point, extend. We're nearly there. Flex, draw it back, point, extend. Final one. Flex and back and point, and then just draw those knees and give yourself a hug. Good work. Let's have a little rock from side to side. Good. Okay. I'm going to take hands just behind the thighs, and I want you to slowly come up to a seated position on the mat, but we're going to use our abdominals to return to the mat. So just gently extending legs away as we lift the head up off the mat. Just extend those feet away, and I say extend, we slowly come up into an upright position. We're going to finish with a few roll downs. So again, lots of abdominal work. Take modifications if you need to. There is no shame in the modification game. So take hold of the back of the thighs as you roll down and roll up. Otherwise, we're going to bring some hand movement into this. That's going to make it a lot more challenging. So just wherever you are, just go with it. So we're going to extend arms forward as we tip pelvis back. And we slowly, with control, roll back down as we come down, taking the arms over the head, and then we circle them around as we lift back up. And we lower. Arms come overhead, circling the arms around as we lift back up. Good. Just a couple more in this position. So slowly lower. Arms come overhead, circling the arms around as we lift. One more. Slowly lower. Arms come overhead. And we circle the arms as we lift back up. Coming to an upright position, just taking hold of that right shin. We're going to just slowly lower back down to the mat and just draw that shin, extending that right leg away, just stretching out those hips, those hip flexors as we draw that shin into the body. Good. And just take a moment just for your breath, just to return back to normal. A deep breath here. So we relax into this stretch. Good. And just taking hold of that right knee. We're just going to begin by circling that knee around. So just getting some mobility into this hip joint. Good. And then reversing that movement. So just taking it in the opposite direction. Good. And then just place that foot back down. Draw a left knee towards you. Taking hold of that shin, extending right leg away. Bringing that really good stretch all along the front of the hip here. Good. Stretching into the glutes as well on the left side. Into that hip crease. Yeah, just taking a moment here. So just breathing in deeply. And just see if you can relax a bit further into that stretch as you exhale. And taking hold of that knee, begin by circling that knee around. Lots of mobility into this hip joint. And then reverse that movement. Good. And then bring it back to center. Drawing the other knee up. We're just going to take the nose up towards the knees. Good. Place the feet back down. Let's extend arms overhead, reaching feet away, reaching through the fingertips, reaching through the toes. Good. Really good stretch here. Full length of the body. And then just circle the arms back around. And then coming up to a seated position in your own time. And we are done. Well done. Well done for just showing up and just fitting the practice in. I know how difficult it can be when we have so much going on in our lives. So, don't underestimate the value in just being able to turn up and do this and fit it into your day. Well done.